The Wicked Witch of the West. Let's talk about it. It's the female that created feminism. And I'm going to explain her to you without even using the word feminist. Matter of fact, strike that word out. We don't even need to talk about that word. We can just focus on her. We can just focus on the Wicked Witch of the West and how she perpetrated the black family and how she came in between the black man and the black woman and forged a disconnect. See, one thing the Wicked of the West understood, that the black man and the black woman together united was powerful. What was the evidence of that? The Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Movement was clear evidence that when the black man and the black woman comes together, they are unstoppable. And they had to get in between that. They had to find a way to get in there, to forge a disconnect. One thing they understood that the white male was not trusted amongst the black culture. Nobody trusted him because he was the face of white supremacy. He was the very poster boy of white supremacy. So anytime you talk about white supremacy, the first thing pops up to you is an old white middle-aged man, right? So he knew he couldn't perpetrate the relationship because he knew nobody was going to let him close enough to do that. So what did he do? He sent in the woman. He sent in the female. He sent in the innocence. He sent in the sense of innocence. And we all know that there's nothing more innocent to us, men, than a woman is, right? We presume women to be innocent, a flower, soft, non-threatening. And he knew that that would work because he knew that the female would appear to be non-threatening and she'll be able to get inside and she would be more trusted. So how did she do this? She claimed to be a victim. She claimed victimhood. For she can relate to black people. She said, I have to become a victim because from victim to victim, we will have more in common. So what she did, she painted herself as a victim. Now, we all know dang well she wasn't no victim because she had the best clothes. She had the best lifestyle. She ate the best foods. She was enjoying all the perks of white supremacy right next to her white man. So her being a victim was just a plot to get in between the black man and the black woman's relationship, into weakening civil rights as we know it. And if you notice, the more black men and black women depart from each other, the weaker the movement has become. And now you see that the civil rights movement has basically died. It's basically dead. It doesn't have the same power it used to have. It doesn't have the same influence it used to have. Why? Because the united front has been perpetrated by the wicked woman of the West. I said the united front between the black male and the black woman has been infiltrated and has thus brought the black movement to a standstill, which is the very reason why we can't get nothing done. We can't get an anti-lynching bill. We can't get nothing through Congress. We can't get reparations. Look all the things that we can no longer get. I don't think we even have a voting rights bill anymore. Didn't President Obama strike that down too, and affirmative action and everything? And if you think about it, the more weaker our relationship has become between the black woman and the black man, we have lost power. We have lost power and influence. We have lost so much power and influence that every other movement has surpassed the black civil rights movement. The transgender movement, the LGBTQ community movement, all of these movements, the migrant movement, the Chinese anti-hate bill movement, all of these movements have actually surpassed the Black Civil Rights Movement, because the relationship that once made it strong, the very relationship, the two people that's mostly needed in order to make the Civil Rights Movement what it was and what it used to be, is in disarray. They're at war. We're too busy going back and forth on Fox Soul. We're too busy going back and forth on Cynthia G's network. We're too busy going back and forth on the Passport Brothers network. We're too busy going back and forth on the Divestors network. And we all are suffering, man and woman. The black culture and even the children are suffering. Because when we're supposed to be out there making sure they're not getting killed in drive-bys, we're on YouTube crying about gender wars. We're on YouTube fighting because the wicked woman of the West came in and forged a separation between the black man and the black woman, and it was done purposely. Now, somebody explain to me why there are two people that are in control of America. Think about this. There are two people that are in control of America. The white man is obviously in control of all other men. All other non-white men he is in control of. He controls black men, Asian men. He controls Hispanic men. He controls all other men. Let's just tell the truth. He is a hierarchy of men in this country. But guess what? There is a hierarchy of the females. Oh, I'm about to go there. I told you. I'm going to expose this wicked woman of the West. There is another hierarchy in America that's other than the so-called bad white man. There is a bad white woman. Okay, and she is in control of all women in America. Let's make that clear. And how did she do it? She used womanhood. And she is in control of all women, and they all march to her beat. Let's be honest. Even our women march to the beat of the wicked woman of the West. Let's make it clear. She has forged a relationship with the wicked woman of the West. Instead of having the relationship that she once forged with the black man, she has forged a relationship with the wicked woman of the West. Now, we all know you can't have a relationship with black men and have a relationship with that wicked woman of the West. You're going to have to make a choice. And that's where the turbulence is coming from. Because when men say, hey, you need to divorce and sever that relationship that you have with the wicked woman of the West, or we can't get along. We'll get along when you get rid of that wicked woman of the West and get her out your house and get her out your mouth and get her out your mind. Then we can forge a relationship. But right now you have a relationship with somebody else, and it's not me. You have a personal relationship with the wicked woman of the West, and we cannot agree with that because it doesn't line up. Because how you expect me to get along with you when you get along with the very person that's calling me a bad man? See, she came in, the wicked woman of the West came in and convinced the black woman that the very man that she forged one of the greatest relationships of all time in the black civil rights movement, that he was an enemy. She once was walking hand in hand with the black man until the wicked woman of the West came in. And one day she woke up in bed and rolled over and looked at the black man and said, "You are now my enemy." Who fed the poison? I said, who fed the poison to our sisters? Who fed the poison? Oh yeah, they're going to get mad. They're going to be in denial because they love the wicked woman of the West more than they love us. See, I am biased. I tell the truth. I am biased as a black man. Don't get it twisted. And I don't want no black man getting on here celebrating. I just want you to understand what happened. I just want us, black men and women, to come together and sit down at the table and figure out what happened. What happened to our relationship? The wicked of the West, the wicked woman of the West, that's what happened. That's what happened to our relationship. Somebody left the back door open and she walked right on in. That's the perpetrator. That's the problem. Get her out. I said, get her out. I said, black women, get her out. You invited her in. It's up to you to kick her out. You left the door open. It's up to you to shut it. Okay? So until then, there will be no relationship. Until then, until you get that dirty spy up out of our business. Because she ain't going to do nothing but go back and tell the white man what's going on. You have allowed the spy to come into our camp. And that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. I said remove her and remove her now. And I promise you, on everything that I love in life, until you kick the wicked woman of the West out of your business, and even though I am talking about the wicked woman of the West, black man, it is still your responsibility to love the black woman. It is still your responsibility to protect the black woman. Okay? Because you have mothers and sisters that need to be protected. So don't do that. That's a dangerous precedent. You don't want to do that. Okay? We got to think. Rethink, black man. Rethink. This is chess, not checkers. This is chess, not checkers. Rethink, black man. I know you're mad. I know you feel betrayed. I get it. I understand it. But let's still make sure we make the right moves. Because remember, the enemy is watching. And he's hoping. And he's praying. And he's casting spells. Okay? And he's praying to his Father. Not the Father in heaven. Okay? Real talk. But that being said, we got to get this wicked woman of the West out of our business. Black men and black women, it's time for you to grab her by her neck and toss her out. We have figured out who is the perpetrator. We have figured out who is the spy. We have figured out who has broken up the greatest alliance relationship in mankind, the black woman and the black man. We know who did it, and now it's time to execute. And I pray and I hope that we both come to our senses. Black women, we're going to need you at the table. We're going to need you to hear us. We're going to need you to understand that we are not your enemy. We're going to need you to understand that it's a lot of resentment that can be destroyed if you just grab us by our hands and let go of the hand of the woman that I deem the wicked woman of the West. Let her hand go and join your hand with ours. Come back home. Come back home. Come back home to where you belong. This is not an attack on womanhood, because it's never been about womanhood. It was about separating the black man and the black woman. I said, we're not attacking womanhood, because it was never about womanhood. It was about making sure that the black man and the black woman could not rise to their prominence, could not rise to greatness. It was to make sure that they couldn't rise up to the glory of the Father. That's what it was all about. It was an executed plan to make sure that that would never happen, that the black family would never rise up, that the black culture and the black people would never rise up. That's what it was all about. It had nothing to do with womanhood. It was about separating me and you.